This is FYI News 13, brought to you by SSPTV and the Hazleton Standard Speaker.
For your information, the Calairs massacre happened 80 years ago in our area. We'll take a look back at this important event in our area's history next. Welcome to FYI News 13 on SSPTV. I'm Ken Kara. Thanks for watching. 80 years ago today, a terrible event took place in our area. It was one day before the election, and political differences led to what will always be remembered as the Calairs massacre. Lisa Sugart has more.
We all know how the world of politics can be, that sometimes it can get nasty with political ads, but 80 years ago today, an event happened in our area that will long be remembered. It is known as the Calairs Massacre, and it happened on November 5th of 1934. Here to talk about it today is Ann Vinatieri, who is a board member for the Greater Hazleton Historical Society. We can't even fathom how something like this could happen back then, but it did in the nearby community of Calairs.
It did, and Calairs is located right outside of McAdoo, Klein Township, Schuylkill County. The interesting thing about that was the Calairs massacre happened as a reaction to a political climate at the time that was very corrupt. Maybe certain things in history don't always change. Politics has always been dodged by that, but yeah, it was a very, very dramatic event that happened, and has kind of always been stuck on the memories of people in the area since then. So
this was on the eve of the election, so yeah. Democrats were fed up with the Republicans who were in control at the time, and they were having a procession, a parade through the streets of Calairs, and that's when it all happened.
Correct. So from accounts that we can gather, we know that there were about 600 Democrats gathered that evening. They were protesting what they felt like was, undue rule. The Bruno family at the time were kind of the mob family of Calairs, and so they controlled some of the mines in the area. They were school superintendent. They were politically in charge of everything in that area, from the private lives to the public lives of people there. And so the Democrats of the area felt that, enough was enough. You've done this for 30 years. You've ruled us since the early 1900s. And we're done with you. So they began marching down. Some accounts say that women were so angry, they were chanting, singing, people were calling for the overthrow of the Bruno family and the Republicans. Dirt was supposedly thrown at the homes of the Bruno clan, and the incident occurred on Center and 4th in Calairs. And at that point, the Bruno family felt threatened, apparently, and decided that it was appropriate to open fire on people who were marching down the street, and so they commenced firing from two different angles. They owned homes on either corner on that, and of course the Immaculate Conception Church is located, I believe, is still there. So all this happened right in front of a church and in a giant street corner, with hundreds of people watching. So when the smoke cleared, 3 were dead at the scene, and 2 more gentlemen died in the 2 days following the massacre. At least 13 people were pretty significantly injured: men, women, children, elderly people. It was a bloodbath, especially for a small town like Calairs. So, yeah.
Why is it important that we remember what happened back then?
I think, gosh, you could draw a lot of analogies out of it. I think one of the biggest things to remember is, it never serves anybody well in the end if there is political domination for too long. America survives and evolves so well because we have a constant influx of ideas and political persuasions and things that change. And when you allow it to become so controlled in this good old boy system, you pat my back, I'll pat yours, what's your family's last name, how can we get in good, that has plagued our area, that was the extreme example of it. Now, I don't think we'd ever get to that point again in history. Hopefully we've evolved as a community, but it's a tale of caution, and so for that reason, I think we need to continue to commemorate it and commemorate the people whose lives were lost, innocent people that day. It was a very tragic thing for their families. So, the Brunos were total thugs. The guys, when they did finally raid the home, they found, repeating revolvers, automatic revolvers, Tommy guns. These guys were armed to the teeth, and they had one purpose and one purpose only, and that was to stop what they felt like was an accost to the power they had amassed, but yeah, what happened was the whole Republican Party lost. It was a sweep. Public opinion was so changed by something that drastic that next day people went and swept the ballots, and it was a total Democratic win statewide, essentially. So kind of an interesting interesting bit of local history. But yeah, I mean, Bruno was crazy himself. He actually escaped once he was in custody and awaiting trial. There are multiple accounts of him bribing the jurors, family members bribing the jurors, trying to silence them, trying to threaten them. So, yeah, it was interesting.
Well, thank you so much for coming in and sharing all that information with us so that we'll never forget what happened. And if you want to know more about the history of this area, always remember to stop by the Greater Hazleton Historical Society, because that is the place where it is all stored.
Thank you, Lisa. In other news, a woman was assaulted and robbed this morning in Hazleton. It happened around 4 a.m. in the area of 13th and Vine Streets. According to police, the victim was transported to Lehigh Valley Hospital. There is no word on her condition. The two suspects are described as Hispanic. One wore a red hoodie, the other a black hoodie. Anyone with information on the incident is asked to call Hazleton Police or dial 911. Pennsylvania will have a new governor in 2015. Democrat Tom Wolf ousted incumbent Governor Tom Corbett in what was a very expensive gubernatorial race that topped $73 million. Corbett, who conceded the election last night, is the first governor to lose his bid for re-election since the law was changed to allow a second term. Meanwhile, one Republican from our area did secure another term in office. Congressman Lou Barletta defeated his challenger, attorney Andy Ostrowski of Dauphin County. Barletta was unable to address his supporters last night at the Pines Eatery and Spirits in downtown Hazleton due to the fact that he was admitted to the Hershey Medical Center on Monday. We talked with his campaign spokesman, Tim Murtaugh.
Well, certainly the congressman would rather be here on election night rather than not, of course. But, he took the advice of his doctors and went and had a procedure to remove a blockage, and turned out okay. And he's hoping to be back in fighting form tomorrow. So he's doing okay. He would rather be here with his friends and family, but, sometimes you have to listen to what your doctor says.
Barletta will begin his third term in Washington next year. And another area congressman is headed back to Capitol Hill. Democratic Congressman Matt Cartwright defeated political newcomer Dr. David Moylan in the race for the 17th Congressional District. Cartwright will begin his second term in Congress. And tonight we have news from the desk of Hazleton Mayor Joe Iannuzzi. The city will host its annual tree lighting on Sunday, November 30th at 4 p.m. And the event will feature entertainment, light refreshments, snacks, plus a visit by Santa Claus and a toy raffle for the children. If you would like to donate a toy for the raffle, you can bring it to City Hall during the hours of 8:30 a.m. to 12 p.m. and 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday, and drop it off in the mayor's office. We're going to take a break, but I hope you stick around, because in sports, we'll talk about what's motivating the Marion Phillies in the state volleyball playoffs. And coming up next, we'll let you know about Hazleton's Veterans Day program.
This is FYI News 13, brought to you by SSPTV and the Hazleton Standard Speaker.
Well, who wants to grow some moss? I know I do, right? Not mold, moss. Of course, we're making more moss, because who doesn't want moss in their house? We're with Tamara, and for some reason we're making moss. I'm told it's going to be awesome.
It is awesome.
Follow along at home. No, but really, what do you do? Moss can be very beautiful.
It is very beautiful, and I have a daughter that's getting ready to get married, so I'm in wedding mode.
Yes.
And moss is absolutely gorgeous at a wedding.
All right.
And it's also for decorating. Now's the perfect time if you want to use it for Christmas. A lot of people don't understand, but wait till you see it. I'm going to show a couple pictures in a couple seconds.
And this mint, the green with the on ivory and ivory, is very popular
very
right now
pretty.
with the
and there's
weddings.
Different types of moss. You can get it that it stringier moss. There's really a couple different types of moss. It's all over. It's all over.
Right.
All you gotta do is take a walk in the woods and you'll see it. I found this recipe. What you do is you take.
Now, did you grow this moss?
No, that I just picked, but I'm going to show you. You take 2 cups of water.
Only Tamara would have an ingredient to grow moss.
You're going to take 2 cups of buttermilk. Then you're going to just break this up and fill the blender. And you want the dirt in it, because the dirt is actually, you need the dirt in it. But you're going to fill.
So you need to use moss to grow more moss.
Yeah, just go pick some moss. This is because you're going to make it go where you want it to go.
Okay.
Like, if you want to, I'm going to show you how we're going to do this, but you're going to have to gradually just do this and blend it till you get it. You're going to make it kind of like a milkshake.
This is something I've never used in my blender.
So what you're going to do is you're going to get it to like the consistency of like a milky shake of like kind of take it off.
Okay.
And then what you're going to do is wherever you want it to grow, you're going to paint it on. And you're just going to let it there. And you're just going to let it, it's going to take about, that's all you're going to do. Wherever you want it to grow,
Okay.
you're going to let it sit. It's going to take about 3 weeks.
Okay.
But you want the dirt, you want everything in it. This can be in your home all through the year.
Right.
All you got to do is spray it with a spray bottle
Okay.
when it starts to get dried up,
Oh,
and
nice.
it just will culture and it'll just keep growing.
Nice, we grew moss. Who knew? That's definitely a first for me on this segment. Anyway, next week, what are we going to do?
Next week, I'm starting my Defunk Your Junk and my furniture workshop. So I'm going to
nice.
show you some before and afters of that.
Tamara has a Facebook if you want to get a hold of her, or she's located right here in downtown Hazleton. So you can check out, you can get in touch with Tamara or watch us every Wednesday here on FYI.
Time now for FYI News 13 weather.
What a contrast. Some bright fall leaves against the gray sky that was around all day today. Let's see what it's going to be like later this week on our weather from the National Weather Service tonight. Rain is likely. The low will be 41 degrees. And then on Thursday, there will be rain. The high will be 49 degrees. New precipitation amounts between 1/4 and 1/2 of an inch possible. Thursday night, there is a chance of rain, 50% chance. The low will be 37. On Friday, a slight chance of rain showers. The high will be 42. And then very gusty winds that day as well, as high as 25 miles per hour on Friday. Friday night, partly cloudy. The low will be 27. Saturday will be mostly sunny with a high of 42. Saturday night, cloudy, low of 35. And then Sunday will be cloudy. The high will be 44 degrees and a cold one on Sunday night. The low 29. Veterans Day is coming up, and for the second straight year, the city of Hazleton will be holding a special ceremony on November 11th. And here to talk about it, we have Tony Colombo from the Hazleton Fire Department, and we also have Roman Barron, who is a part of the American Legion Post 76 and also a disabled American veteran, served in Vietnam. And you volunteer now to help out fellow disabled veterans as well. Tony, let's start with you. You and the Hazleton Fire Department, Joe Bugda in particular, have done so much work for veterans, for patriotism here in the Hazleton area. Why did you want to bring this veterans ceremony to the Hazleton area last year and again this year?
Well, we started last year because the city of Hazleton hadn't had a veteran service for many, many years. And we contacted the mayor, and the mayor says, well, you want to do something, just run with it. And you know yourself, when you tell Joe and I to take something and run with it, we run with it. And last year we had General Joseph was our keynote speaker at City Hall, and that was a great service. And we think it should continue yearly because these veterans are very important to us, the past veterans, the current veterans, and the veterans yet to come, because we wouldn't have what we have if it wasn't for our veterans. Our freedom is there. So American Legion Post 76 adopted us, and we just think it's important to keep the service going.
And Roman, before this interview, while we were waiting, you showed me an entire list of what you'll be doing tomorrow, driving veterans around in our community to doctor's appointments. There's a need there, but for people who maybe can't go out and volunteer this time or just don't know about it yet, why is it important for them just to take time to come to this ceremony?
Well, we must recognize the veterans, especially those of the past. They are the reason we have the freedoms in this country that we have. If you listen now with ISIS, you know, all of this barbaric, it's just brutal. And I think, you know, we've got to continue to recognize those veterans who gave their all.
And does this mean a lot to them? You're around, you are a veteran, you're around them a lot. How much does it mean when people just show up?
It's fantastic if you just say, thank you for your service, because they certainly appreciate that. You know what I mean? I try to give back because the good Lord has been good to me, and I'm trying to give back by driving the veterans up to the VA hospital for their appointments.
And it will be a great ceremony in Hazleton. Guest speaker going to be Major General William B. Lynch. He's retired, and when he was in service, he was headquartered at Fort Indiantown Gap, and he was in charge of supervision of all Air and Army National Guard units allocated to the state of Pennsylvania. And Tony, you are part of a brotherhood with the firefighters. The brotherhood for you guys in Hazleton has grown to include a lot of the veterans. What are the relationships like, and what have you learned from all this experience?
It's been a great experience to get involved with the veterans. They actually taught us we have respect for the veterans. Everything we've done in the fire department over the years since 9/11, all our services, our prayer services, our memorials, we've included the veterans because we figure as firefighters, they're part of our brotherhood. And we respect the veterans, and we want to keep community to do the same. So we're asking anybody in the Hazleton community to come out on Tuesday the 11th at 11 o'clock at Hazleton City Hall. Children are welcome to be there. We're going to have them do the Pledge of the Flag. Anybody's welcome to come. We want to fill the streets. The more American flags we have waving, the better. And we're going to continue doing it. And we're also working on Memorial Day, so we're never done.
All right. Well, come on out. That is on Tuesday the 11th, and say thank you. We'll have more with some veterans from the Hazleton area on Saturday and Sunday on FYI Weekend. Here's our green screen, your midday winning Pennsylvania lottery numbers. The Daily 948, the Big Four 6393, Quinto 78556, and your treasure hunt numbers 10, 12, 19, 21, and 26. We'll take a look back at the Marion Phillies' first round win in the state playoffs and the girls volleyball playoffs next.
This is FYI News 13 Sports.
The defending state champions are marching on to the quarterfinals. The Marion Phillies volleyball team knocked off Lidditz Christian in 3 straight sets on Tuesday night. Next up for the women of Marion, a date with Sacred Heart on Saturday. Let's take a look at how the Phillies got there and what's pushing them toward another state crown. The Marion Phillies are like a millionaire who loves her job so much that the money is only secondary. Sure, medals and trophies are nice, and Marion has lots of them, but that's not what's driving this group of Phillies.
My team keeps me motivated. Abby's a great setter. Make sure that she's happy. When she's happy, the entire team is happy. So that's what we have to do, make everyone happy and make sure we are motivated.
After Lidditz Christian showed some bite in the second set, it was Abby O'Donnell who spoke up.
Started at the beginning of the third game. Our team, we all came together, and Abby, as the leader, she was just like, we need to pick this up. This is states. This is for seniors. We know what we want to do, but we can't get cocky. This is our team. We have to play always our defense. That's when I think we picked it up.
The Phillies are playing for each other and because they love the sport. And every win means they get to play another game with their friends.
I go out in each game just to have fun out there and play the sport that I love, but also do it for my team. And we did. We just had a great concentration. Thanks. And it was very important that we kept intensity and concentration too. So
Emily Pilla, who helped the Phillies keep the party going with 18 service points, did a great job of keeping her concentration during that interview, while a small fan was hanging off of her and showing her some love. Love. There's a lot of that around the Marion program.
These girls are great. They're bonded. They play together. They love one another. They're friends. And they support one another. And yeah, they play for one another. And that's what I brought up between game 2 and game 3. Do you want this to be the seniors' last game of their careers? Okay? We could possibly play 3 more games. And do you want this to be the last game? And they responded, and they played that last game a lot better, I thought. So game 3 I was the happiest with, okay? Still, a couple little things on some server but I'm not going to put it on my girls. I'm going to say that they got some good servers over there. And they had a good attack, and the coach was a good coach, and she was calling her serves. I could see there were people looking over at her and asking her where to serve, and they picked out somebody, and they repeatedly served and served and served. Even if it's your best serve receiver, that's going to cause problems for that girl for the night, okay? All of a sudden, 10, 12 balls come to her, in a row. It's like, okay, it's starting to get tough to do. So they had a good plan of attack against us, but, we did well.
The Phillies have a wealth of talent and a load of trophies. They're rich, and they work hard for what they have. But like the saying goes, when you love what you do, you never really work a day in your life. We'll have more on the Phillies in the coming days here on FYI, so stay tuned for that. And hey, stay right where you are right now. Sorry, I don't mean to be rude, but here's tonight's FYI Standard Speakers scoreboard. The Penn State Hazelton men's basketball team, they opened up their season with a 72-46 win over Luzerne County Community College. Freshmen Jacob Solano and Royce Braithwaite combined for 36 points for the local Lions, who traveled to Johnson College on Thursday. And it was a sweep at High Acres inside the Dr. Thomas Cassis Gymnasium as the local Lady Lions beat El Tri-C. Alexis Dolly had a double-double for the Lady Lions. They play again tonight at 6 p.m. at home. Tomorrow on the Sportscast, we'll take a look back at Hazelton Area High School's 2014 football season and a look ahead to the future with head coach Mike Brennan. Here's some delicious alliteration. It's signature steak night at Bottlenecks. All of their signature steaks are only $9.95 plus bottomless soup and salad for only $2.95.
Good evening, everyone, and here's tonight's Talk of the Town report. St. Michael's Church in Shenandoah will be holding a Chinese auction Sunday, November 9th. Doors open at noon. Auction begins at 1:30. Light lunch will also be available. Cost is $4 per person or 3 people for $10. For more information, please call 570-462-0809. That's tonight's Talk of the Town. News 13 would like to send sincere condolences to the family and friends of these recently departed. Patricia Costal of Sugarloaf Township. Funeral is Thursday at 10:15 a.m. from the Harmon Funeral Home. Friends may call Wednesday from 6 to 9 p.m. Jean Christie of Lemoyne. Mass is Monday at 10:30 a.m. at the Good Shepherd Church in Camp Hill. Friends may call Sunday from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Malpezzi Funeral Home. Carolyn Walp of Drums. Funeral is Friday at 10 a.m. in the St. John's Lutheran and UCC Cemetery. There is no public viewing. The Harmon Funeral Home is assisting the family with the arrangements. Joyce A. Hinkle of Weatherly. Services Saturday at 11 a.m. from the Zion's Evangelical Lutheran Church. Friends may call at the church from 9:30 to 11 a.m. Emerson J. Prochko of Palmer Township. Services Saturday at 11 a.m. at the Morello Funeral Home in Easton. Friends may call from 10 to 11 a.m. Raymond Pareca of Tamaqua. Mass was held today from the Skyview Memorial Park. Gerald J. Sacco of Drums. Arrangements will be announced by the Joseph B. Conahan Funeral Home. And Lucille Payne, formerly of Drums. Funeral is Friday at 11 a.m. at the McHugh Wilczek Funeral Home. Friends may call Thursday from 6 to 8 p.m. Attention pay-per-view subscribers, if you see your name right now on News 13, you'll have 13 minutes to call in and win a free movie from Service Electric Cablevision. Our winner tonight is Peter Geraci of Hazelton. Peter, if you're watching, give us a call right now, 570-455-7267, extension 104.
There's a new Sam LaSan show coming your way Wednesday night at 9 p.m. It will feature members of the Standard Speaker, so check that out, 9 p.m. on Wednesday night. Check us out tomorrow, Thursdays, FYI. We'll see you at 5 p.m. Until then, take it easy, everyone.